back to Copperhead Kustoms worldwide headquarters, and today we are back on our 1948 $2,000 Hot Wheels Legends Tour Bedford build. Stick around to see what we do today. So yes, welcome back. And as I stated, this is our 1948 Bedford Stubby Nose O series called Stubby Ben that we are building for the measly budget of $2,000 Australian and planning on entering it in the Hot Wheels Legends Tour when we finished, if they have another leg in Australia, which this year they didn't. They better bloody come back because we've got a contender. Any rate, if you're new, as stated, we're doing this for $2,000 and it's come a long way. Started off in a paddock, beat up, shot up, little cab we got really cheap, and we've put it on a Holden chassis, shortened it. Well, there's so much too long to go through, but anyway, so in last week's episode we did these absolutely drop dead gorgeous triple ghost candy flames with black candy on the top, and hopefully they're popping a little bit there in the camera and you can see them, but in the flesh they are ridiculous looking. The colours, every colour in the rainbow has come out in those three different candies, and they are green, purple and gold. And if you missed the episode prior to last week, we worked on the back of the truck using an old fireplace kick panel cast iron as our bumper bar. Hey, I've never seen one of them done. And we enclosed a bit of the sides of the back just to finish it off, as I thought it looked a little bit unfinished. If you didn't know, all this wood is an old pallet from the hardware shop we got for free. As you can see, it looks pretty damn good. So this week though, we are going to do something on the inside. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? I hear you say, well, we are going to, I think we're going to look at the steering column. So we're a bit in there and a bit out here. But at any rate, what we've got here is the original steering column from this chassis. So as stated, it is a Holden, I think this one was a WB panel van, same as the Holden Utes running the 202 6-cylinder, and this is the old steering column from that. The steering wheel was missing all the horn and all that rubber, but I picked one up. A little bit ratty, but hey, it's free. So the best part about it is it does have the ignition barrel, but we don't have a key, so we have to work on that. And the indicator stalk, but that was snapped, but I've picked one up. So first things first is we've just got it sitting here with a knocky strap, kind of where we probably want it, but we're going to have to address everything. See, we've got this ugly ass plate that's welded on factory down the bottom there, so we have to basically locate it, cut that off, probably either re-weld that one or make a new one and weld it up here more so that it can be bolted. I think that's how we'll do it. We'll just bolt a new plate to our floor and that will have that section done. Now we've got a little bit here, if you can see that. That's actually because it was a column shift. I don't know if auto or manual, but we could probably either pull it apart and delete that or just snip that off. Now we do have some double D, a spline Jaime type universal knuckle thing with a spline on it to go to a double D shaft, they call it, which is like a round shaft with cut edges. So we've got the D shaft, we've got Jaime joints. We'll have to make a bracket down here for the Jaime joint to fix up. Then we've got another D shaft to the steering box, uni joint to that. So all in all, we should be able to make it pretty good. So what we've got to do though is we've got to get in there first. I'll do that off camera and just see where I'm happy with the steering column, steering wheel location. But approximately where it wasn't too bad, I think, as in height wise. So once we're happy with that, we'll then come out here and kind of work out what's going on. We might put a couple of marks on the actual column of the angle of this to sort of work out where that plate's going to go. We'll basically get that plate on, drill a hole in the floor and get that sort of mounted. We'll also probably have to look at probably a mount at the top as well maybe. And once we've got to that point, we can then, before we finalise anything, we'll then look at how our shafts will work. Like I said, we'll then make a little bracket down in here somewhere off the chassis to hold our Jaime joint, which will hold our rod. We'll locate it all. And Bob will be your uncle. Now, we'll probably try to get a couple of other jobs done in this episode as well. Maybe. But one thing we're definitely probably going to do is You'll have a look in a minute, but the column itself is pretty ratty. It definitely needs a coat of paint. So I was just going to paint it black. And then I thought, after doing these guards, it may look trick to do something a bit fancy on there. So maybe we do some hardcore metal flake, or use some candies, or we do, I don't know. But we're going to come up with something, I think, to make that steering wheel and column look pretty cool. So, at the end of the day, what we want at the end of this episode is we want our steering to be working, mounted, our indicator stalk on, and we're one step closer. Then only the next thing we'll have to do is we'll have to then look at our pedal assemblies. So we've got to factor that in as well, that we've got to have room for our pedals and stuff while we do this. So this can be a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It can be a little bit challenging, making sure that you allow for all your pedal contraptions when we do this. So you just got to think outside the box a bit. Don't rush it, and don't just slap it in willy-nilly. Make sure it's all good. From there, we're one step closer to getting this 2 gram Bedford on the road. And honestly, guys, it's not that far off. Okay, now can you stop talking and start bloody working? Oakley dokley. So we've just been in there, inside the little, it's tiny, eh? Oh, I reckon I need to lose 10 kilos to drive that comfortably. Even though I've been losing some, but I probably need to lose another 10 to be nice and comfy in there. Although I am okay, but long distance drive. Just my legs are a little bit crampy. Being a manual, so we just got to get those pedals in the right spot. Otherwise my knees are going to be up at my ears. But at any rate, you would all have those issues, especially people that are building the tiny cabs. Now this is a tiny cab. If you look inside, there is no room at all. These are tiny, and then you give that a 6-inch roof chop, well, you're asking for trouble. So regardless of that, this is our HQ column. It is not bad. At the end of the day, we do have a brand new idiot, or whatever they're called, column there, but that we would have to factor into the price. I think I paid $300 for it. And we have a really nice wood grain steering wheel, which would match our woodwork perfectly, but that would also be a cost. I can't remember what that was. I paid $200 for one and $50 for the other, and not sure which one went into which. But anyway, so we can't really afford to put $500 in our budget, can we? When we're doing a $2,000 build. So we're going to use our free one. Okay, so this, like I've said, came when we bought the motor chassis diff combo. This was part of our $600 purchase price, which I think we even recouped a little bit of money because we sold a few things we didn't need. I think we sold the hubcaps, the wheels and hubcaps, I think. I put some white walls on the wheels, and we sold the wheels and hubcaps for like $600 or $800. So we've got to actually factor that into our costings, which I don't think I've done yet. So we're actually probably going pretty well. But anyway, I think like we're under budget without even factoring them in. But with all that said, you're talking too much rubbish. So as you can see, we actually have the breakaway system on here. So this is very good, guys, very good. So this means that it is illegal. It is legal in Australia. As when we put the new columns in, you need to put in a breakaway system, which is what this is. So what it is it gets bolted in through this. We have a bracket that's bolted into the cab or whatever. And these here, see, they're on little sliders. So in an accident, the column can come away from the mounts, okay? So, yeah, that's what all that is. So what we might do, is we might lose this one, I think. We might chop this one off, and we'll just have these two, and we'll get something like pretty much maybe a bit of 50mm RHS or something, I'm thinking. And we might notch it around there and pick them up. That's sort of what I'm thinking. And have one piece going across. Now, we want to get rid of this bracket, this electrical connector. I think, what does that one do? That's part of our ignition. So we need to either, that needs to be relocated because it's in the way. Like we want this up, hard up on our angled piece, yeah? So we're gonna have to think about this, whether we do an ignition delete or whether we just try to move this. Maybe if we could move this around here. I hope you can hear me. It's absolutely bucketing down outside, so bear with that. And I'll show you some stuff. We've been doing some stuff out there, making the outside area a bit better, the outside shed. So we'll get to that. Now, down this end, we want to remove this, as I stated. Basically, we want to put it in there, I think. If I put it right there, we're in a pretty good spot. Now, there's wires and crap everywhere here, so we're going to have to source a diagram. As you can see, those wires are all sort of cut, so we're going to have to trim this back and rewire this plug. Now, I have kept I think the female version of that plug I kept off of one of the wrecks that I've come through. So we can use that. This is just a GM style ignition plug. So what we've got is we've got hazard lights, indicators. I think we may even have our headlights on this stalk. I've got a new one. We'll go find it in a minute. Then down here, we've got, that actually doesn't look like anything. Just something tied on. Then we've got this button, 2 wires here. So we've got our ignition here, and then we've got a horn coming out of it somewhere. So there's lots going on in this column in the wiring. And basically, with using this, we don't need an ignition switch, we don't need a headlight switch, indicator switch, or a horn. We don't need any of that if we use this column. So, you know, it's a big saving for us. So yeah, we're going to cut this off, I think, first. I think we'll cut this off for our, that was for our column. As you can see, the little columny bit there. I'll have a look at that if we can neaten that up. I think we'll cut this back so we only have those. We'll look at moving this, and then we'll make a bracket up to mount that. Okay, a lot of waffle. As you can see, it is pretty ratty. The only other issue we've got is we don't have a key, but as you can see, this is working without a key. So what we'll do is, don't tell anyone because they might steal it, is we'll just have a key that fits in there. So it looks the part, yeah? So if we ever got pulled over, I've got a key, what are you talking about? Even though the key doesn't do anything because it turns without it. So, but I don't know if you've ever done this, right? Back in the day, I've had a car and I lost the key. What I did is I pulled the barrel out. I just went to the locksmith, got him to cut me any random key, just a random key that would fit in it. So I think it was a Nissan Skyline. I said, cut me a random Nissan Skyline key, put any pattern you want on it. I shoved it in the barrel, just made sure it would shove in. We pulled the barrel apart, and what it is basically as it goes in, there's all these little brass things that lift up and down to suit the key. So when it went in, I ground them all off, all the bits that popped out, ground them all down, put the cover back on, bang. We now had a key that was keyed to the car, so a trick. Anyway, stop dribbling and do some freaking work. What we're going to do is we're going to pull the steering wheel off. Hopefully that's the right socket. Yes, it is. So we just pull the steering wheel off, get that out of the way, and we can probably start working on that. It's not actually cracked up or anything, so that's pretty good. It just really needs to be cleaned, and then decide what we want to do in the paint department. Like I've said, I've got one of these. It's a bit ratty, but we'll clean it up. Be all right. It's in black, and we've got the indicator stalk there. We've got a new one of them. So I think that's pretty good here, but we'll get that off, and then we'll start chopping and cutting it up, and I reckon we can make this look cool. Oakley dokley. That's going to do me today. So let's just run through what we did. We made this plate. Now I stuffed up, yeah. So I got the hole saw that was pretty much the right size, but by the time it wobbles a bit, the hole was too big, and I couldn't be bothered cutting a new plate and drilling a new plate. So I cut that into 4 pieces, and redid it all. Now that's put on a bit of an angle, as you can see, and that should be okay. Okay, so that's our little plate. So what's going to happen is this is going to come in from the inside and go through. So that little floor is a bolt-in piece. We'll have to cut a hole in that. This has to be smaller than this. So this will come through these wiring connection, which I'm not sure what it's for. It might actually be for the high beam, low beam, maybe. That will be on the outside. We'll work out what that is anyway. Yeah, so we just got to make a hole that's big in that bolt-in floor that's big enough for this, and it's got a little notch for that. And then this can go over it. So, and it's just got to be smaller than that. So that shouldn't be an issue. And then 4 bolts into that cover, boom, and that's got the bottom of the column all good. Yes. So then we had issues with our ignition switch being in the wrong spot, as we knew, because it was actually pointing up here, and so we've moved that. Then we tried to bend the rod and we snapped it in half. So in the end we've re-welded the rod. We've got it like angled like this. It's actually not bad. We've cleaned all the switch, and we actually cut a bit of this off, brought the switch around, so that's not going to hit anything now, and should be kind of tucked out of the way. Plugs can go on there, whether we've got the plug or we just put spades onto that, and it should be neat. Now there is a cover that goes over this. It may need a notch or something. We'll have to look at that. A little plastic cover goes over there. We'll have a little look at that in a minute. We've come up to this end, and as you can see here, see? Let's key off, click, click, and then we go start, boom, boom. All right, so that's working. It'll work a lot easier with the key in it. Up this end, we have just cut that off, which was the little column. It would have been a column manual. This would have been the column link, and down this end we cut them off as well. So that's all good. And then we have, so this is, I think we'll just paint this black. I think we'll just paint the column black, yeah? And we might do something a bit fancy on the steering wheel maybe. I'm just thinking there's not a real lot of it. We only got this and this. So I don't know. We'll have a think about that tonight. It's all going to get black first. Whether we do couple of little flames, maybe. We could do a couple of little baby flames on there with some candy and clear it, maybe. We'll think about that. Now this bracket here, so this is going to be the one that bolts into the car. So what we've got to do is we've got to put a plate in there and weld all that up. So we've got something pretty staunch. It's like 3 or 4 mil thick. And that we're going to drill some holes in here. And whether I'm not sure how we'll do that. Maybe we might put some nuts in there. We might actually weld the nuts in. Maybe. Might be a way to go. Or we'll put, either or. I think it might be best if we actually weld nuts in there. So we'll drill some holes, put some nuts in and weld them. And then this will go over like this. And we can put bolts in from underneath. And then we'll have some holes drilled here and here. And that can get bolted into the cab. Whether we put a plate on the outside to reinforce, or whether that can just go up into that. We may want a plate. So that's what we're going to do there. Then that's got the breakaway system happening. So very good there, I think. So we're pretty close now. Tomorrow we'll finish this one. And then that gets bolted in, and that gets bolted in, and steering column is done at that end. Then we just got to do hopefully we get it with our 45/45, our 2 uni knuckle things. Hopefully we'll pull that off, and hopefully I bought the right ones. Yes. We'll see. Then what we'll have to do, once it's all painted and we're happy, we'll come in and we've got to unbolt this, but we're not going to bolt the new one on until we're finished. So yeah, we've got to do that, and we've got to clean in here a bit, and then we've got to look at our steering wheel. So this is going to have to all get sanded. We'll have to clean all that up, but yeah, sand all this up, and we'll do something. I think we'll do something trick with it. That needs a good clean sand, and then we'll go find our little cover. I think that will just stay black and just get clean. So what we do with this, I don't quite sure yet, but maybe we'll paint it black, and then maybe we'll do some random little swashes with a bit of metal flake and a bit of candy and then clear it something so it looks a bit like the flames. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll try to get a little bit of a those flamey colours from our guards onto this and onto this top section. That actually might look pretty tricky, yeah. So we won't get the flames, but if we get a couple of these little random lines and get those colours in, because how cool is that? I reckon that then brings, see, this is the key to doing when you do something like this. It's a little bit out there with the build. Then if we bring a bit of this somewhere else, so if we bring a bit of these into that steering column assembly, it'll, oh yeah, look at that. Hokely dokely, we are back and have a look. Ooh, we've been busy down here. Rearranging, building, doing all sorts of stuff in the shop. Won't run through it all, but as you can see, we've got a lot of room now. We're waterproof completely. That's pretty cool. Actually, really, it's really good to work down here anyway. So, yes. And check them out. That's right. 15 by 15 American racing wheels. And guess what they match? They match our DeSoto. We just need to, if anyone knows, something to remove the paint but not affect the polish, because under here they are polished. Someone's painted them. 3-piece rims, as you can see. The little lip there. Big dollar rims they are. And they're running Mickey Thompson 31 by 18.5s. I think they are. Monster wheels, and they will eventually go on our DeSoto, but that'll be a bit down the track. We've got to tub it, build a new diff, new suspension, all this stuff. But yeah, we got them, picked them up at a very good price for that. So, where are we at? Well, we're doing a steering column. So, let's see what I've done. Okay, so this is where we are at. We have Our column, as you've seen, we made the base plate down there, and on the column, on the angle, drilled the 4 holes in it, and we've painted it all. We actually had to move the ignition switch, all of that stuff. We took the broken indicator out, given it a quick coat of paint. Okay, so it all looks good. Our key thing there works. Boom, boom. Okay, so all very good. We made this bracket up that we fully boxed in, welded nuts on both sides, so that's all bolted in and it's all notched. It's all very trick looking. Probably went a bit further than normal. That's a very basic bracket, a bit of RHS. Cut the edges on a 45, then you can drill in through to mount it. But on this one, I welded nuts in both sides, capped the ends. As you can see, we cut the half round out for the column to notch back into. That all got plated. So that's pretty flash. What I'm thinking of doing is, I think we might even powder coat that. So at the moment, that's just been given a quick coat of black, but it's all just in mock-up stage at the moment. I think we might take that off and powder coat it. Now down the bottom there, we've got that plate we've made up that the column will bolt to, and it bolts onto the floor. So that's just got Tech screws in it, but we've got bolts to put that in properly. But the same, we'll either paint or powder coat that plate. I'm thinking we might powder coat it. Now, how are we doing that? Well, we have a powder coating system. I am waiting on some more powder of the powder coat to arrive. I've ordered some ivory, which is kind of an off-white, antique type white. We've ordered some black and some red at the moment. Down the track, I think we will do these wheels. There is a gold that's very similar to this, like a pearlish gold that you put a clear coat over. So a clear coat, powder coat, yes? So it's a 2-part system, and to get the nice shine, they'll come out a bit, come out satin if you don't. So we may look at buying that, but that's quite an expensive colour. About $50 to $60 a kilo for each part. Okay, so yeah, we may look at powder coating the rims. I think that might be a good trick. And yeah, but I think we might start powder coating some parts. I know how to do it. I've got all the stuff here. I thought I might show you quickly how it's done, how easy it is, and it's pretty cheap to set up. My setup cost me under $200. Nowadays, that was a few years back. Nowadays, it's a little bit more expensive. I had a little look on the eBay, and I think they're about $270-ish, $300 now for the little gun and all of that. And then the powders you just buy. You buy your colour. You buy them in the kilo, and it's what you pay per kilo, between like 30 to 60 bucks, depending on what you want. You can get chrome. You can get heat proof. You can get all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff in the powders, metallics and all this. And like I said, some of them are 2 parts. Some are one you can get like a chrome that you put a clear over. It's I've never used it, so I can't actually tell you how close it is to chrome, but it won't be as good as chrome, but it will be pretty not bad. You can get the ceramics types for your exhaust, heat proof one. You can get all, you name it, you can get it. So at any rate, we can only do stuff that will fit in an oven. So basically get an old house oven out of someone's reno and put a plug on it. You only get them for nothing. So you can go to a 900 mil oven, they do. Some people have big ones. So anyway, enough dribbling on the powder coat. That's something we'll probably look at doing later in the vid. Now, what are we doing now? So yes, we've got the column in pretty much mounted. So now we're heading over to here, and we're just going to see how we can go fitting our knuckles up, our unis. We'll see what happens. Then in the steering wheel department, we had a few dilemmas as well, so we'll quickly run through that. So we're going to use this original wheel that came with a column, original Holden wheel. I cleaned it all up, all good. And this cover, this is all we had of the steering wheel. Now, when I picked up some parts off of a bloke a few months back, he threw this in, the cover, because I was missing it, the horn cover. Silly me didn't realise there's a metal piece that's meant to go on the inside that this hooks onto, and that's what you screw it into. So we don't have that metal piece. We could potentially try to make something up, and we may do that down the track, but then the horn probably won't work. We pulled out one of our flash wheels, the 9-hole sport steering wheel. We didn't have all the boss kits for it, but this was a $200 steering wheel, so we didn't really want to put that in, plus a boss kit and all that, and a horn ring, and all of a sudden we're $300-400 in on a steering wheel on our $2,000 budget. We can't do it. So what we did do though is this here. This was $20. So this is an old school sports steering wheel, wood grain. It's in pretty good nick, as you can see. It's not exactly the look we wanted, but it will do. So yes, it came with the Boss kit. This is the Boss kit. Now this is off of a Commodore, but from my research, it should fit this column. So that's how that came. And obviously the steering wheel mounts onto there, okay? But that itself isn't really nice, i.e. that section through there is a bit ugly. And these are our little rings for the horn. Now we don't have a horn ring, but I do actually have one of them kicking around somewhere. I'll go find that in a second. We do have a horn ring that hopefully should work. Now, what we've gone and done is I called into the plumbing shop on the way home and I grabbed these two pieces, about $3 each, and I think they'll work. So that one there slides over, and as you can see, it's a nice tight fit. I don't even think we have to do really anything at all with it. It seems to just fit on there pretty well. So the other option is this one, which we would have to chop down, of course, but that fits on. But there is a little bit of play there, so we'd have to sort of glue that one on once it's cut down. So I'll just have a look at which one I like better. I kind of think that one there is not bad. And what we'll do with that, we'll paint that black, and then we will continue with what we are going to do with the rest of the column. There's a little bit happening, a bit of cool stuff still to happen. Now I think we might actually paint this center black too, because this is all going to be black and that will be black. And I think maybe painting the center of this black may look better. What do you think? You reckon I should? Because I don't know, I'm just not really into chrome. Okay, so here it is. It's pretty gnarly angles, but it all works fine. It is not binding up on anything. There's a bit of stuffing around to get it all right. We actually had to cut about 2 mil off of the steering shaft there. All good, I think. I think it's all good. Now we've just got the other wheel on temporarily, just so we could turn it all around. I haven't actually sat in there and felt any of it yet, but our other steering wheel is a little bit smaller. Now we've got a flat tire, so it's not turning really nicely, but yeah, and everything is a bit loose. So now I think we'll pull this out and we're going to do some paint work on our column, at the top of our column, on our steering wheel and on our Boss kit. We're going to do some painting, but we're going to powder coat this bracket, that base plate down there, the silver one, and that double D shaft. I think we'll powder coat them. I've got the oven out. I haven't gone and checked for powder, but I'm sure we got a little bit. We've dragged the oven out. I actually hurt my arm doing it really bad, so that's why I'm sweating, because I've been out the back going through tyres and sorting stuff out and getting that out. Okay, so we've got our powder coat machine out. So you buy these, like I said, I think I paid 120 or something for mine, but I think they're like 200 and something now. So you've got your powder, goes in to the tub here. Now we've actually got powder in, and as you can see, our air feed in there. It's just a trigger, just like a paint gun, yeah? And the powder comes out of there. It is electrically charged, okay? So what happens is, if we hook that up and shoot the powder out, it won't do nothing, okay? But what we do is we have our little unit here plugged into the power. We have our little earth lead here onto the part, okay? So this has to go onto the part, so you got to remember that. Sometimes you can do it through your little hook, you know, your little hook that you're hanging the part off. You can sometimes clip it onto that. And then you've got your little foot controller switch, okay? So when you press this and have that connected and press this, we've now got the part has electricity, okay, which then the powder itself is now charged and is attracted to the part. So, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory once it's going onto the part. But say you've got your part hanging here and you're just misting your powder around, the powder will actually like go around it and even come back onto the part, okay? So you just do that, nice, and get it as nice and thick and even as you can, and then you go put it in the oven. Now, you are best to, now I have issues with my power down here, but you are best to have your oven preheated, of course, and the best results is you preheat the part. Now that, a few things. One, the metal, it will, heating it up will get any oils and anything, burn any of that crap off. You might want to give it another clean, preheat it again. So you preheat your part. Also what it does is, that first bit of powder that hits it, basically, because it's hot, it kind of sort of sticks it on straight away. So you are best to preheat your parts. For us to preheat the part, we can preheat the part, then we've got to turn the oven off and use that power cord. We've got a couple of power cords, but that circuit has to run the compressor. I don't know if we can run the compressor and the oven at the same time. Generally, it will trip the power. So, yeah, for us, we'll preheat the parts, then we'll shut the oven down, bring them over here, hang them up, hit them with the powder, then we'll turn the compressor off, go fire the oven back up and bake them. So what you want to bake them for is It's different powders, but generally it is 200 degrees for 10 minutes. So what you have is, because we don't exactly know what our oven's doing, okay, so I generally crank the oven up and then have my little infrared thermometer and just crack the door open and send the little infrared light in there, get it to 200, turn the oven so it stays at 200. You don't want to go hotter than 200 as you will get a crappy finish. If you go under, so like if it's 180, you want to leave it in for at least 15 minutes, but recommended is 10 minutes at 200 degrees. So that's not 10 minutes in the oven. Obviously, the powder is going to get in to all our threads, and then we're going to have powder coat in our threads. So you're going to have to clean your threads or put something in. So you can actually buy little, they're sort of like earplugs. I don't know if earplugs would work or not. I might do a test tonight about that and put an earplug in the oven inside and see what it does on some alfoil. But this tape here is especially for powder coating. You get this off of the eBay which as well. So you can tape stuff up. Now, so what we'll do is we'll wrap a bit of this tape around these ends. So we've got a little red line there of where it went in on our uni joints. So we'll just run tape around that edge. Boom, boom. We might leave the ends non-taped so that we get a bit of powder coat on there. But basically so that our little shaft that slides in will not be done. This piece will quickly strip back, get the paint off. And I think I'll just run a little bit of tape in, back on itself and just stick it in there. Okay, in all four. This piece we don't have to do nothing. We just got to clean it. So we've got to clean the paint off the back and just give it all a good clean. Just clean it like you're going to paint it. Have it all waxed and greased. We just don't want oil. We don't want contaminants. If you can sandblast stuff, get it like that's the, if you can do a set of rims and you can sandblast them all back smooth, that's the pinnacle. But basically, just prep stuff as you would. You're going to paint it, and your powder coat should come out pretty damn nice. Now, obviously, this is a bit thicker than a paint. That's basically what it is. It's basically a type of paint, but like in a way, but it's powderized. Yeah. But it's basically just thicker. Yeah. At the end of the day, but it will show unevenness. It won't hide stuff. It may hide it a bit more than a paint would, but it will not hide stuff like that either. So it's pretty simple. I should have done this a long time ago, fired this up. Just been a bit lazy, realistically. So like I said, it won't cost you a lot. Like I said, I think these are about 270 bucks now. That's just on my first look. You might get it cheaper. And oven, well, you get that for free. Joe Blow, or Marketplace, people are renovating kitchens all the time, giving away their ovens. You'll get that for nothing. Trust me, 10 bucks most. Plug, come on you guys, you can work that out. So, free for the oven, under 300 for this. With all that said, let's get these parts prepped and let's bloody powder coat them. Exactly. So we've had a few issues and we've missed this bit of stuff. It's all been happening this afternoon. So our ovens kept tripping the power. We fired up the second oven, wired all that up, kept tripping the power. Doesn't matter what I do, it keeps tripping the power. Obviously, this doesn't like it down here. I'd have to take it upstairs. So that's a bit of a pest for our big thing. So what I did is, don't tell on me, all right? Because I'm going to get in big trouble for this. But I stole a little oven. We use that a lot. We use that more than the big oven. I've stolen that. But there is another one. So, I'll try to slide the other one in and get away with it. Anyway, I've stolen this one. And we've got our parts in. So the other stuff you missed was the camera went flat when I was trying to put the powder on. So you missed me putting the powder on. So these are basically, I reckon they've flowed out good enough now. So what you want is, this is the thing. We'll turn it off, but just so you got the light. If you underdo them, they won't go hard. They'll be soft, okay? If you overdo them, as in leave it in too long or have it too hot, then it can lose its gloss from memory. That's from memory. Yeah, so if you overdo it, it's not shiny, and it can be a bit there. And if you underdo it, it won't go hard. So what you want to do is, you'll see it, when I looked in there before, you could see it was all a bit like when you spray paint and you sprayed it like too dry, and it's all like, not sort of orange peely, but not like dry, So that's how this will look when it's not fit, you know. Then at that point it hasn't sort of flowed out properly. It's still in the process. So it's sort of melting, but it's not all the way there. So once it's all flowed out, like this is now, then you know you're around the mark, you know what I mean? But this probably went a bit over. I didn't have my temp gauge working, so it's really gone over a bit. As you can see, it's a little bit peely-ish, but they're looking pretty cool. Yeah, they're pretty good. There's a little discrepancy on that back one where I knocked it with my finger. But other than that, we'll pull them out in a sec. We'll have a good look. We'll pull them out, and I've got the glove on, and I'll hang them up. We've taped up our steering wheel, and we've scuffed all of that back with the green scotchy. So the steering wheel's both sides ready for paint and special stuff. We've done the same to our boss and our little PVC pipe. This is how we've set that one up in the end, and we've just put a few little dobs of silicone, and we've got that on there. Now it won't matter because it's sort of sandwiched on with the wheel anyway. I just thought it'd be nicer if it's got a little thing. And then this is why I picked that one, is because finished product is much neater. The other one we had, you could see the outer ring with the steering wheel. So this one looks quite neat. And so that's going to get painted black, and then special stuffs. And our column from here up has been scuffed as well. The reason we're doing this is, you'll have to wait. No, the reason we're doing it is so that things flow. I've told you before about when you do stuff and then you put them in other areas of the car to make them flow. Should I just like put you out of your misery and tell you what I'm going to do? Hey, should I? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to do the Ghost Flames on the steering wheel and on the boss and on the top end of the column. So they won't be big flames. We'll cut out a little tiny flame pattern, a small one, and we'll go around and we'll get all these black first with some base coat. Then we'll come along with some silver base with our flame design, and then we'll do a layer of candy, green. Then we'll do another flame design. We'll do the gold and another one with the purple. So we'll get the 3 different colours happening in there. And then what we'll do is we'll do the same. We'll put the cherry black over the top, candy over the top, and then we'll do the black black candy over the top, and then we'll clear it all. Yeah, full on. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We'll get all that. Hey, we're doing it like, what's going on? We're building rat rods and we're powder coating and painting. Like, come on. Yeah. Are we changing the standard? Are we like leveling up? Am I like leveling up? Guys, like I've said, this is stuff I've always been able to do. Like, you can see how old that powder coat thing is, but it's just time consuming, you know. Especially, and a lot of the reasons I don't do a lot of this crap is the issue that I have down here, like we had today with the power. So, and then from memory, that's why I stopped powder coating, because I was having issues with my power tripping out all the time. So I had everything shut down and just the oven, and it was still tripping the power. So any sparkies want to come and do some wiring? And hey, look at this! Isn't it romantic? All my little lights. All right, let me pull these out and I'll show you what they look like. Okay. So here's our double D shaft. So as you can see, we've just left the ends that are sliding in, and the underneath is done as well. Not that you'll hardly even see them. So as you can see, it turns out pretty nice. Yeah, groovy. And like, it's so easy, guys. So that's still pretty warm. So we'll just let that hang out somewhere and dry till tomorrow. And you can touch it. It's just that it's hot. Yeah. So here's our plate. Now there's a couple of little discrepancies on this. This probably could have got cleaned a bit better. There's a good light for it. All right, so trying to get it somewhere where you can see it nice. There's a little blurb there. A little one there. Probably just didn't quite clean this enough. But hey, it's all powder coated. Easy peasies, yes. And then we got this one, our little bracket. Now, you know, like I said, normally I wouldn't have gone anywhere near to this extent, but once I started, now that one there, see that little, that's me. I touched it when I was putting it in the oven, and I couldn't be bothered pulling it back out and redoing it. As you can see, the little bit of tape worked, and it looks pretty slick, doesn't it? Hey, this is a little hand fabricated part. Groovy, eh? So, yeah, like I said, now that's pretty shiny. you can see now, if we left that go longer, it probably would have dulled out, yeah? All good, I think. All right, that's it. You can see it's pitch black, and I'm not feeling very well the last few days. I think we got the lurg. Maybe I've got the corona. Who knows? Anyway, I'll see you in the morning. So we put some black, bluish black it's called. It's blue, it's black with blue pearl. I think the fumes might have me at the moment. Base coat down on the steering wheel and our altered boss kit, and we actually threw some on the top of the column as well. And this is our flame job so far. So we've got the three colours now. We actually put them on a bit more concentrated than we did on the guards, so it doesn't look much at the moment, but bear with the process, guys, because we're going to now, well, not now, but because it's getting dark, but tomorrow we're going to put our cherry black candy over it, and then our black candy over it, and then we'll clear it. So we're going to ghost them down, but we've really got those colours a bit vibrant. I didn't actually reduce them as much. Much vibrant. So here's our boss kit that we did. Now, we did sort of, it's probably a bit hard to tell on this one, but we sort of did, we did like flames, but just hand flames. And so when that dulls down, I think that should look pretty cool. Probably like at the moment, it looks like a big load of blur. But I think, yeah, once that's dulled, ghosted, it should look alright. And the steering wheel as well, you would have seen. So yeah, at the moment it just looks like a Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat. But and I think if these were reds and oranges, it would look insane. But the fact that we've got three completely different colours, but I think by the time that dulls down, it will just have this little flamey. We just want to see the wispies of the pearls, isn't it? It should look pretty cool, I think. So we're going to have our wood grain steering wheel column. You know, I don't know. It looks crap. We'll just paint the freaking thing black again. But at any rate, so that's our PVC pipe. As you can see, that's all on the boss kit, really nice. So anyway, we've done all of that. We didn't do a lot today. We were busy doing other things. Ooh, more more stuff done at the shop. Anyway, what we've done is we've bolted in our beautiful looking powder coated bracket. That's all bolted in now, and how cool is that? So, and there's our floor plate. We've started bolting that in, and that looks very nice as well. Now, I know you all didn't get to see the powder coating process. So look, oh yeah, we've created a monster now, haven't we? So we've taken the door handles off and the window winders. The window winders were painted brown, so I thought we might as well powder coat them. And we've taken off the inner and outer door handles, which were pretty ratty. So I'll just show you them now because they're quite pitted up. We'll do this tomorrow. So what we're going to do is, you can see they're quite crappy looking. We'll give them a bit of a sand up. We won't get too, probably maybe just use the flap disc or something, but yeah, we'll get them a bit smoother, and we'll powder coat them, and we will powder coat the little, those are, I don't know what you call them, that screw on for the handle, and then the inner handle as well. So we'll give them a quick sand up. I'll show you the process of powder coating, and we'll do these ones. These are the ones that we painted. So we'll do all them in black, hey? Why not? Keep you all happy. Oakley. As you just seen, we got those all done now. If we would say they turned out exactly as I wanted, I'd be lying. But so I don't actually know what I did different, but the green basically disappeared. But and it's pretty hard to, but you can still see the flames are in there under the right conditions. Now that's with the light on it. As you can see here, coming around the corner here, you can see them. Hey, they look pretty cool. But the green basically disappeared. I think maybe I put a bit too heavy. Might have gone a bit too heavy with the cherry. But if we look, no light, it's just... So, they're pretty cool. What it's going to do with the lights. And there's the steering wheel. Normal, just sort of looks blacky, purpley. Bit of a light, shimmer. Ooh, what is going on there? So again, the green basically disappeared. I would honestly think the black cherry, I maybe went a bit hard. See, I don't think I thinned the colours out as much. I was adding some clear into them and into the candies, and putting probably a bit more thinners in. So maybe I just gone a bit heavy with them, And there's our column, and then up close, like that's pretty cool, hey? It's still very wet. But you get the gist of it, I think. And again, the green basically disappeared on us. So they're probably a bit more vibrant, yeah, than the guards. And I think that's just like I said, I went a bit harder on the candies, probably a bit thicker. So we'll let that set up now. You can see I'm a bit croaky still. What we'll do though is, let's do that bit of powder coating, hey? So I'll do those handles so you can actually see how it's done. And I just threw the clear, for those that are interested. I gave the door, inside of the door, because that's pretty much all been scuffed back and ready to go. So we just gave the inside of the door and the door jamb a bit of clear. I can't wait. Oh, and look what, oh, yeah, there's something else. I wonder, could it be for them? 295s, little 15s, 5s. Wheels, skinny, fat. That's right, that's the piece, one of the pieces of the puzzle we're missing for that. I think within the next 1 or 2 videos, we'll jump back on the Austin. All right, enough talk. What we're going to do is, we've got these handles like I showed you. So let's just smooth these out a little bit. As you can see, they're a bit rough, and the old, what will they be? 1948, 52 and 24, hey? 76-year-old chrome is having a few issues. So let's scudge a bit of that back off, and then I'll show you how to powder coat. Okay, so there's our parts stripped down. Now these were very, very badly pitted and chrome peeling, and I used this little stripper or something it's called, basically for ripping paint off, stripping disc. Okay, caramel wheel, or I don't know, something like that they call them. Anyway, that actually de-pitted it pretty well. Now I could have gone fussier, so what we're going to do is I'm not going to go that fussy, and we'll see what the powder coat turns out like, okay? But we can get rid of most of the pits, but we can still see up close there's still pits in it. Now you could sand this and get it better. See there's pits in it, little pins. So we'll see if we get rid of them with the powder coat, and that will tell you guys how much, you know, how fussy you should get. You know what I'm getting at? Because if I make them perfect, then you won't know what you can get away with. So you can see the pits. Now I do know my mate down in Melbourne, he has the same little Bedford, and he was asking about his door handles, what I reckon. And I said you could try and paint them, and then I said, why don't you powder coat them black? So basically we're doing ours black, so he can see if they're going to look any good. So anyway, and now he will see how far to take his bits if he sets his little, which I think he's going to do, set his little oven up. So there's our unit, there's our gun, right? We hook that up to the air compressor. So I'll just do it on time lapse because it'll be too noisy. That's your little foot pedal, so you got to press your foot pedal for it to work, okay? You don't press your foot pedal, that's not your part up there. See the little wire? There's a little wire going up from our machine. It's our little earth wire. Yes? So if we don't press the pedal, we won't complete the electrical side of it, and then the powder won't stick to the part. Now they reckon it's best to wave it. All right, now my gun's playing up a little bit. It's not, just needs a good clean. I think it's not actually releasing off the trigger real good. So I'm having to basically use the air adjuster to get it. But basically they reckon you're saying about 6 to 8 inches off and dust and wave it, okay, around, get a nice even coat. And like I've already said previously, you are best to preheat your parts. So we haven't, because we have issues down here, yeah? So that's not preheated. So preheated, the powder will basically will stick on it a lot better. What have we got, 6 pieces? Now these, one of them was brass, so I just shined him up, and the other one's chrome, so I think we'll just leave them shiny. That's what I'm thinking. So, pretty easy, yeah? We ran out of powder right at the end. We do have some more black. So they're in the oven. Pretty simples, yes. Like I said, just hold your foot pedal. And remembering, do not do this anywhere in your clean shop, okay? You can see it gets everywhere. It's a little finest, little, like talcum powder. You know, you do that in the bathroom, it's everywhere, isn't it? Much to your wife's dismay. So right, we ended up doing one of them. The chromey looking one we did. We didn't do the brass one. I think the brass one looks nice. So in the perfect world, your parts are preheated. Yes. So the reasoning for preheating is, one, the powder sticks nicer, but also the heating up of the part pulls any oils or greases or anything that's inside the metal out. Okay, gives you a better result. Yes. So your parts come out preheated. You hang them up, you hit them with the powder, okay? The powder, basically, a little bit of it nearly melts in straight away. Then they go back into your oven, which is still at temp, yes? You bring the part up, not the oven, the part has to be at 200 degrees. So you use your little infrared temp gauge thing on the button. Mine's got flat batteries. You open the door, hit your part. When your part hits 200 degrees, then you set your timer for 10 minutes basically. 10 minutes, pull it out, all right? It's done. If your part doesn't get, only gets to 180, well then it's got to be in there for like 15 minutes for 180. Generally they're 10 minutes, 200 degrees, all right, is what they want. But that's the part, not just the oven, all right? So we'll check this in a minute and we'll actually see. So if we just crack the door a little bit now so you can see the powder, see it's powdery? See this one's starting to go already because it's getting hotter quick. See the others, they look like powder, they look very flat and powdery, all right? So we'll see that in a minute now. Do you see that little tiny piece? That's really thin, so that will come up to temp really quick. So you've seen that one was smoking a little bit and it was sort of looking a bit shiny because the powder's already starting to melt a little bit and stick. The other pieces being thicker will take a lot longer to come up to temp, right? But you'll see it will look like that little piece did there where it's, and still it looks like spray paint that's gone on too dry. It's still not ready. You want it to, it will fly, it's like it flows out. So it'll be like when you hit it with 2-pack clear and it looks like all glassy. That's what we want it to look like, okay? And if we pull it out too early, it will be soft, won't be hard. Probably might be a chance of it chipping later on down the track more so. And if we pull it out too late, so we bake it too long, one, you could nearly blister it a little bit, but generally it would dull off and it won't be nice and shiny. It will look a bit ordinary. So it's pretty easy stuff, guys. Don't be worried about this one. This is one of the easiest things you'll ever do. So anyway, we'll come back when they're ready in about probably 15 minutes, I'd say, by the time that our parts get up temp. And we'll have a look at what they look like then. In the meantime, I'm going to go get a drink because I'm not very well. Okay? Remember how I said, this is really easy, and remember how I said you should preheat your parts because it sucks the oil out? Yeah, I should listen to what I fucking say, shouldn't I? So anyway, as you can see our bottom ones here are starting to flow out. They're not quite perfect, but they're getting there. This little sucker, he's good. Look at the piece in the back. It's all blistered up. You know why? And the ones at the very back may be coming good because it's had some oil or something that's leaching out. I'm pretty sure. So it looks like 2 of them we may have to redo. At least I'll show you. So we'll see how we go. As soon as these are finished, I'm calling it a day because I'm starting to really feel like crap. So I think in the morning we'll redo those other 2 handles. What we'll do tomorrow is we'll have to strip them off. We'll give them another clean. We'll preheat them this time. Hit them again. Throw them back in. Alright, because I'm nice, what I've done is I've deliberately just shown you what not to do and why you preheat before you powder coat. Okay, so this was a 100% deliberate experiment. It was not done by mistake. So here is our piece. Now as you can see, the powder coat has basically blistered on us. Now what that is either air or contaminants or something underneath inside our metal that's lifted out and it's got sealed in and it made the powder coat go all silly. So that's why you preheat, to get that stuff out, okay? Even if I think it's just air, porous bits of air, being hot will extract them out, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, what we have to do now that I've done that experiment to show you guys why you preheat is I'm going to have to quickly strip all this powder coat off of these parts. Preheat them now. We will preheat them and we'll do it the proper way this time and re-powder coat them. The door handles, there is a couple of little tiny on that one. I think we'll get away with it. Honestly, I think I'll just let that one slide and this one's good. And our little fitting turned out nice. Okay, so but those ones turn ordinary and honestly, that's actually never happened to me before. So, as we can see here, a much better result, yes. Perfect. I don't know if it's very perfect. We're talking with 80-year-old metal, but as you can see, preheat them and much better. Yes. The other one. Now there was one that maybe I put it on a little bit thick. Here's the outside ones. Turned out nice, as you can see. And this outside one, just here. This little, now that's hard, like a rock, so don't know whether there was still an impurity in there or if I just put it on a touch thick there. Maybe I put it on a bit touch thick and it was sort of hanging, like that in the oven. So whether it was a touch thick and it sort of ran down to there and it was like a little droplet, could be the case, because I did put, one of them did go on really thick, okay? And there's our little window winder ones with the little handles. So let's put all these on. We've got to find some nice screws for them. Oakley dokley, hey, it's all done. There's our handles. They look nice and neat, hey? I don't mind them. They looked pretty ratty before, but they don't detract from the vehicle at all, you know, as in them not being patinaed, and they're just a lot better. No cutting yourself now. They're going to last. I think they're okay and working properly. And now this is all bolted in nicely. Set it up like that. Now what I'm going to do, now this one's not on properly because I'm going to pull these door cards off and I want to get all these edges glued down. So I'll do that. I won't waste your guys' time with that, but I'm going to do that off the camera. And you can check that out in the next one. So there's this side's handles, and all looking pretty good. Now we'll come around the other side, and I don't know if you've noticed, but see I've laid that nose cone back on a bit of an angle. I think I like it better. Anyway, here's the other side with the brass little bushing at the back. I think that looks pretty trick. And there's the inside, all good. And there's our window winder, which is actually not being utilised. Now what I am thinking of doing down the track though is I may put a little window here, I'm not sure, or I may cut this out. Well, I'll tell you what I'm thinking is, we never had side windows, so I'm thinking I could put a little perspex window in here, okay, and just have it like glued in, and then here I could put some runners in, and maybe just have a little, and have even a perspex window here, and it's just like a little slide, one of the little slidey up ones where you have like a cord or something, and they go, pull it down and it pulls it up. Mainly, the main reason will be when we're out driving it, we'll have the windows down, like all the time. But just for when it's parked up, one, it's waterproof, and two, it's a bit more bug proof. So we'll think about that down the track, whether we make a little perspex one. But anyway, enough of that malarkey, Watson. What are we looking at in here? Well, we've got it all done, and have a look at it. It looks pretty nice, eh? Now, it does look very high, but sitting in it, it is absolutely perfect for me sitting in there. It is absolutely perfect, and it's very neat, I think. So you can see that, like, we've got some crazy stuff happening with the steering wheel colours and stuff. It's kind of out there what it's doing. Probably can't really pick flames, but it's definitely got some pearlescent stuff happening. And if we have a look down there, you can see it's very neat looking. Looks the part, I think, guys. I think you'd have to agree that all looks pretty good. Indicators, it's all mounted, it's got the breakaway system, and if we can get a bit of, so we do have some flames happening there, through there, and on there, you know, it's pretty groovy. Okay, and then sitting in, as you can see, with me in my driving position is about like that. The good part of it being high is I've got room here for my knees, see, because we've got a manual, remember, so my legs are going to be doing this. Remembering, we are big, but two, this is a tiny, tiny, tiny little cab. So, as you can see, like, arm on the window, like it's just in a good spot. My head, my vision, see, I have headroom in this, the way I've sat it, and my vision is through here. So it looks like it's a little bit tall, but it's actually in a pretty good spot for me, personally, especially driving a manual where we're going to be foot on the clutch, foot on the brake, you know, boom, boom, moving our legs around a bit. But just in a normal position, like we're cruising down the highway, that's sort of me sitting, you know. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think we've done a decent job of this, powder coated. Hopefully you seen and seen how easy really it is to do the powder coating, and maybe that's something that you may want to look at doing yourself on your builds, because you know it's a pretty good result. Like that's nicer than that would come up with paint, like realistically. So anyway, I think we've done all right on this one. We're going to continue on with this. We've got some more cool stuff. It's getting closer and closer. We've got something pretty cool coming on at the front of the car. That will probably be in the next week or the one after. And then soon we're going to jump on the Austin and do a little bit of work on that. But we're getting close with this Bedford. We're definitely getting close. It's coming along nice. The more I do to it, the more I sort of want to do to it. I think, like I've said, I really want this to be not just a pretty little thing. I actually want it to be functional, and I want this one. I want it to last. Like I want to drive it occasionally, you know. But I just think doing stuff like this, like doing a bit more, you know, even our bracket, like we could have, like I said, we could have done that really easily and stuff. But we just lifted the bar a bit and powder coated it and boxed it in and just had a better result. So we might do a bit more of that. I wouldn't say it's high end fabricating, but it's not agricultural slap together. It's a, you know, a bit in between. It's like a nice, some nice work for once. I wouldn't say I don't do nice work, but I probably don't do it as, I don't do that. I don't normally powder coat and stuff, and you know, stuff that I know I can do, I probably don't do stuff at the level that I can, would be a better way of saying it. I can do stuff a lot better than what I do generally, but I just like to get it done and get it happening. But after doing the DeSoto the other week, where I actually fixed a few people's like crap work, it made me, you know, go, well, let's start doing stuff a little bit, you know, a little bit better, and we'll see what happens. At any rate, a lot of dribble at the end there. Hope you enjoyed this one. It's pretty cool. Like the end result's nice. I think I'm happy with it anyway. We've got steering now on our Bedford. We're getting close. We've got to get the tail shaft hooked up. We've got fuel lines, brake lines, fuel tank. We're very close on this car, guys. Hopefully within the next few months it's finished driving down the road, which will be pretty exciting times. Any rate, with all that said, I'll say thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.